Hi.
How's it going?
And we're back.
And we're back. We were just talking about the lighting. How like us tired
like,
mothers.
Oh, this lighting is really good.
We're like, oh,
it's like
highlighting.
me
It's hiding my
under
back
here, and
you can't see the wrinkles.
we
When I get close up,
don't normally wear makeup, but we did do a photo shoot today. So
and then when I got on camera, I said, I was
you were like, I look so weird.
I look so weird. I never see myself with makeup. But anyway, we did it for you guys.
Yeah, might as well.
All right. We know these guys, or we definitely know them from Instagram. The Rua Wright Olsen family. What?
Hi, guys.
Hi. I love that you're a big fan of them, and thank you for being so supportive to me and my family. This question is for me, which I'm really shocked about since your name is in her actual handle.
I love it. Let me read it to you then.
Okay, good.
Okay. So how do you, Teresa, deal with the step-parent/child boundaries, and was it difficult to build a relationship with your stepson?
That's such a good question. I think having a blended family is always going to have its challenges. Sometimes it feels really easy, and then other times it's really, really hard. And it just depends on where the child's at and what transitions they're going through. Luckily for me, I have an amazing stepson who's really emotionally in tune. He's open and honest about his feelings. And he has an amazing mother. So he already has a mum who's so connected to him and such a beautiful support to him. And he has an amazing relationship with her. So it actually makes my job even easier. I think it could be a little more challenging if you were dealing with a child that felt very disconnected from their other parent and you have to pick up some of the slack. I think that can be quite challenging. But in terms of our situation, we just get to be each other's buddies and we get to have fun together. And I certainly have boundaries in place with him, and I can discipline him and I can love on him and have these wonderful experiences with him, but under the guise of knowing that I am his step parent. I am not his biological parent. And I will always be there for him in whatever way he needs, but he already has a mummy, so I don't have to step in and try and take on the mother role in my household. And I think for the first couple of years I thought that that's what I had to do. And then when I had my own children, I realized that actually what benefits Isaac the most is being another maternal figure to him, but not having to step in and have any of the responsibility that his own mum has. Just like being there for him, lending an ear, taking him out to the movies. We had a little stepson, stepmummy day, and I took him to go see a documentary, and we laughed together. We played video games together. We're each other's little buddies, and that really works for our family. I think in some other situations it might make more sense for someone to step up and really be the authoritarian, make all the decisions in their life. But I'm quite go with the flow. The four of us, his mum, his stepdad, and my husband, the four of us communicate a lot. We have a thread going and we're always checking in about how Isaac's going. And that's what it is. It's about open communication and making it work and ensuring that he feels fully a part of our family and no different than my biological children. And yeah, I really appreciate that. I think when I grew up with in a blended family, and I remember my stepmom wouldn't really talk to my own mum. It was like my dad and my mum would be the ones that would communicate all the time. And my stepmom was kind of a little bit more on the peripheral, and she wasn't as involved. But I do like it that now I can have a really good relationship with Isaac's mum and have good communication. That's not to say it wasn't very difficult at times. There was definitely some growing pains between the four of us, and there still continues to be at times. But
you guys just do it very beautifully.
Yeah, I think I'm proud of us. I'm proud of how we're doing it. And even if we get in little tiffs here and there, we always use that as an opportunity to go deeper. So thank you very much for the question.
Okay, next comes from Kind Fit Carly.
She's kind and fit.
That's right. And she's
her name's
Carly. Do you have specific examples of how you let your children be who they are rather than who you think they should be?
What do you?
Specific examples. You know, I guess one example might be that it was interesting when I was a kid. I have a brother. He's 4 years younger than me, and he's an EOD Marine, and he's the sweetest, most sensitive little thing. But I used to play games and stuff with him. We would play G.I. Joes, Cowboys and Indians, like whatever it is we were gonna play on his side. But then we always had to play things that I wanted to play, like Barbies and
Dolls' houses,
or I'd want to go on adventures outside and lay on the trampoline and whatever. And so I remember one time I put him in like one of my nightgowns and I put lipstick on him, and my dad was like, "Whoa, don't do that," And my brother had no idea that that was something that maybe he shouldn't do or should do, but he definitely after that was like, "Don't ever do that to me again." And so, I think that was something that really stuck in my head, and, God loved my parents. It was just a different time. And so my daughter will want to put on a tutu and run through the house and dance to Let It Go. My son will be like, "I want one too," and he'll put it on.
Bodhi will want
He's just, and Bodhi too. But like Wyatt's just as like, he's like, "Oh, let it go." He like does his like dude stuff, but he's wearing like a tutu. And no matter what way he did it, if he wanted his hair down to his butt and to wear heels and dance around with it, or if he wanted to, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. I would embrace that and let him play and do that. And then we definitely talk about, like girls' clothes versus boys' clothes. He asks me all kinds of questions about it. And both of us have always tried to keep things really gender neutral and just like let your kids figure out who they are and not
dictate.
Set any sort of limitations for them in that way.
And I think it's really important to remember that they're not an extension of us. They are their own little individual people. Mm-hmm. And, Bodhi wanted to grow his hair long and wear pink. And he loves putting on my makeup sometimes and, wearing, putting lotions on and all that. But he also plays with crazy amounts of trucks, and he likes talking about blasters and like being the bad guy and like the good guy and robbers and policemen and all that sort of stuff. So it's a wide range of interests, and I love that, and I encourage it because he's his own little being. And I actually find it fascinating to sit back and observe who he is, who his true authentic self is, and to watch that blossom and grow and take shape and go in new different directions is so interesting. Mm-hmm. And I just keep like an open field, and I lay down boundaries in terms of discipline stuff, but just the way he explores himself and the world and his interests and different passions, I love it. I love allowing him the freedom to do as he pleases in that way. Cool. We have another one.
Yeah, it's the
Eric
Christian Olsen
fans.
Hi guys. Okay, so how did you two come up with the ideas of your children's names?
For me, Bodhi, we just love the name. If we were gonna have a girl, she was gonna be called Indigo. And then we found out it was a boy, and we always just love the name Bodhi. It means enlightened one in Sanskrit. I love the way it looks on paper and the sound of it. And I also dreamt that I would have a son called Bodhi. And we had a different middle name for him. He was going to be Bodhi Bastion. But then 2 nights...
That's beautiful.
Yeah, Bodhi Bastion. And then 2 nights before he was born, it had been raining and raining and raining. And it wasn't very typical for it to be raining at that time. And I just had a dream that like he chose his middle name, and it was Rain. And so we had never thought of Bodhi Rain before, and I had dreamt that was his name, and I was like, all right, we're gonna go with Bodhi Rain. And so that's what we went with. And then Forrest is just, I remember growing up as a little girl, and I loved this boy called Forrest. He was the older brother of this kid that I thought was so cool. And I remember watching Forrest on his BMX bike riding around the backyard, and I was probably 8 years old and thinking like, gosh, Forrest is the best name I've ever heard. And we have a special connection to nature, our family, and so Forrest just felt like a really natural fit. And we always love the name Sage as well, and it has a beautiful meaning. And you know, we gravitate towards earthy names and names inspired by nature, so that's how we landed on those guys.
For us, we thought for sure Wyatt was going to be named Story.
Oh, I love that name.
It was Story Wyatt Olsen or Story Oliver Olsen. We couldn't figure out which one. And somewhere in like when I was like 6 months pregnant or something, Eric and I both were just like, he's just so strong. I was getting bigger and he was kicking me all the time. And I was like, this really feels like a Wyatt. And Wyatt is, you know, just like this cowboy name and strong name. And I don't know, there's just something about it. I just kept hearing it in my head. And I was like, Wyatt Oliver. And Oliver, you know, is like the meaning of that is the olive tree. And I think the olive tree is so beautiful. And the female version of that is Olivia, which is Esme's middle name. So Wyatt Oliver and then Esme Olivia. Esme came from the short story by J.D. Salinger for Esme with Love and Squalor. Eric had me read that when we first started dating, and I loved it. And I was like, oh, if we ever have a little girl, I want to name her Esme. And that was
so pretty.
Something that we never let go of. And then when I found out it was a girl, I was like, it's Esme.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah, there was no other option for her.
That's so sweet. We only have 3 minutes, so I don't think we can fit another one in.
I don't think we can fit that one
in. We'll have to do that next time.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. We will be back.
Yes. Thank you so much for all of your questions. There were so many, and we really want to answer them all, so we'll make sure and do that one. We're both back in the same city.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.